Now, personally, I'm more of a reactive response I like to respond rather than initiate in a fight. And that's just my habit. I'm not saying it's good, but if you ask me for self-defense advice, I would say attack him first. But personally, I like to respond because then I know I'll be in a better position if I do win the reaction. And that is like a principle of the internal martial art. But it's much harder to do. And I'm not saying that's not possible, right? Just now I'm saying you can't have a set plan and expect that to work defensively. That's not to say that you can't win by not making the first move. It's completely possible. You have to have better, superior approach. For example, in Tongbei, right? We've talked about this in other videos, like in the Tongbei video, in the approach to combat video, mix of combat video. But just in case you haven't watched them, a good example is if I'm trying to be reactive, I don't have to worry about what he does, right? It's what I call the master key approach. I don't have to be specific on this arm or that arm. I don't have to kick. What I do is, if he's making a move, I'm just going to do this. So if he make a move, I'm just going to do that. Okay, as for example, is the move I can do almost blindly. As long as he's doing something here, I'll be able to cut him off. And of course, you don't need that power, right? The power that I can drop his arm and numb his arm so much that able my next approach to go without hinder. So if I do it slowly, if he does a punch over here, it will be here. That will weigh his head down, which will follow up to the hand, and then probably a hit to the neck, or a punch to the solar plexus, for example. But if you were to punch with that hand, it will be the same. It will be the same thing, right? I don't have to change my technique. I can just on my motion. I can just punch different place. I can punch solar plexus, or just punch the rib. So the hit is still there. And of course, this approach only have one problem. I mean, if you hook with that hand, it's the same thing. I can still do this. But the only problem is if you hook with that side, I can't do this and cut the arm. But if he actually sticking to do a hook this way, I will actually be faster than him because I'm on the inside. So instead of trying to deal with this arm, it's going to do right onto his head. So if you do it slowly, it will just be here. And with any decent practice, I will land on him first and it will cripple his whole structure. And at this angle, when I step in, his hook is not going to hurt me as bad because when somebody throws a hook at you, his intention for your head to be here. Okay, but in that second, I stepped in like this. This is not an easy approach, right? Don't look at this and think, oh, this is simple, now I can just do this. No, this is very hard. I still have problems applying this against people. It takes time to practice. It takes a lot of practice to have the right power, the right reaction, etc. This is not easy. I'm just showing this to show that in the internal martial arts side, it is possible to be the respondent and win the fight, be on top of the fight. It's not impossible, but there has to be no elaborate or complicated combo. It's just one move that I'm going to bank on that works in all situations. Okay, and the power side of things, just in case you guys haven't watched the previous videos, if you're somebody like this, don't use this move. It's not going to work for you. Okay, you need to have a specific power. In this case, we call it react thinking force. Of course, with compression, expansion, all of that. So when I do straight down to someone, it must look like this. Okay. What was the feel on your arm?
Numb. So it's basically right arm. It's very hard for me to use my right arm. This is numb. And also it's pretty heavy. So it's almost like I must go forward, not by choice, and exposing my head.
And what about, does it give you like a shock in the mind?
Yes, yeah, it does.
Like a surprise, not a shock, like you don't expect it to happen.
Yes, yeah. Well, I don't know whether it's because of the numbness or the heaviness, but basically my mind was blank. So a lot of guys describe it as seeing white. I haven't quite saw white yet back then, as the hit occurred, but my mind certainly was blank. And then the second thought that comes into play is focusing on this area, which is actually quite dangerous because Chris is normally gonna go do a follow-up. So yeah, but it forces my mind on that area, which opens me for other attacks in other areas.
Yeah, so in that sense, it works similar to the punch low kick. The low kick draws your attention here. This doesn't draw attention there, but draws attention here. So you don't see that. So just for those of you that wonder what Chinese martial art or internal martial art do in self-defense, this is one example. But bear in mind, this takes a lot of training. There's no shortcut. Don't try this unless you have the training to back it up. The fastest way is to do combat sport. I know what people say out there in combat sport, not for self-defense, not for the streets, not this, not that. Those guys are talking nonsense. They're just jealous because they can't step in the ring and win. Okay, as simple as that. Combat sport, I don't do combat sport at all, but combat sport are good for self-defense. Just don't do the stuff that is meant specifically for the ring. Okay, for example, try not to, by choice, tackle someone on the street. Because if you do that, his body might come and kick you in the head. I mean, the jiu-jitsu guys will get upset and say, they can't do that on the street. Yes, they can, but it's not always safe. So if you're on the street, don't voluntarily go to the ground, right? It's always good to know what to do on the ground if you do end up on the ground, but don't go there by yourself. Try to win the fight standing up. And also, when you're standing up in combat sport, give very good foundational training on how to throw punches and knock people out. Other thing that people often talk about is that, if I throw a hook and catch a guy's elbow, I'm going to break my hand. That's very true, okay? Which is why in traditional Chinese martial art, you almost don't throw punches blindly, right? You either throw a punch by establishing contact first, or you use your hands. But, in modern context, if a guy comes to chest buff, alpha male kind of people, his elbow is not here. You can knock him out like that. No problem to that, okay? Or if you get a low kick on him, his elbow is not going to be here either. It's going to be there. So you can still knock him out. So there are ways around it, okay? But yes, combat sport does tend to give you a bad habit of swinging your punches mindlessly. Like the body shot, right? You jab, and body shot. And if the guy's elbow is here, you can't catch it on the elbow and hurt your hand. But there are certain habits that I would say maybe you shouldn't form if you want to use it on the street rather than in the ring. But as a whole, combat sport will give you much better ability in self-defense than any of those self-defense gurus out there, or women self-defense, all of those nonsense. They don't work, okay, at all. Now I'm gonna then share with you some of my personal ways that I fight people with, okay? These things, keep in mind, might not work for you, okay? I'm not telling you this is what you should do, okay? And I've always said that I don't make this video to teach you how to fight. You can't learn from the internet, okay? I'm only trying to share with you some of my approach to give you an idea of what I do to people in a fight, just to get your brain thinking a bit, okay? So don't try to copy this. This isn't instructional. It's just an idea of what I do, okay? So one of the things that I often do against both, when I do challenges against Chinese martial art people, or if I have some scenarios on the street, is I initiate the engagement, but I don't initiate with a punch, okay? Because in the Chinese internal martial art idea, if I throw a punch, although I have the initiative, I'm also the one that can't change. So I'm not prepared for whatever he's about to do. It doesn't apply in combat sport per se as much, but in internal martial art, you could be put into a trap. That's why internal martial art guys, the authentic ones, most of the time don't prefer to punch first. They prefer the other guy to do something, so that way they are sure what they are going to do. However, this approach that I often use, I initiate. But I initiate by baiting out his arm. So I'm not initiating by throwing a punch that he can block. I'm initiating out by knowing where his arm is and then change accordingly. So what I do is, whether his arm is up or not, I will just walk, if I'm going to fight the guy, I'm going to just do this to him. Obviously, if by this point he's not reacting, then I hit him in the face, control his neck, and punch him, and that'll be a easy win. But most of the time, the hand will come up. That's just the human response, okay? And when the hand do come up, then that's the punch. You can see, when it comes to these specific things, I can't actually slow down because my instinct kicks in. Because I keep doing these to real people, so it's no longer exercise. And so I'm going to do it slow. So what I do is I bait his hand. When it comes up, I do 拳法 from 一拳, right? This thing. And by doing that, I slightly rotate his own balance, and also set up my punch into 摘拳. Okay? So it's like this. And that's one of my favorite approach when I was doing 一拳. So often I just come up to a guy, well, we're like in a sparring or like a challenge match, we don't just go up and whack each other. We have like some steps. But whenever I catch the guy, like here, when I feel that he's resisting me, it'll be there. And then another punch to the jaw. And then the guy will drop. So you might think, okay, this is actually like boxing. And yes, it is a bit like boxing. I mean, 摘拳, not really, right? This is not a punch in boxing. You punch diagonally down towards solar plexus, but this is certainly like a boxing punch. But the difference is obviously how I deliver the punches, the body mechanic, also how I build up to the punch, right? Instead of just throwing punches out, I actually base his arm, I rotate it, in order so I can hit him without hindrance or blockage. So I use this a lot, okay? The other one is when I completely passive and they initiate. Like, with just say, you just do like a punch or something, and just be there. And it's a very small motion, but the force will like try to disrupt his balance. Okay, so the more force you put into his fist, the more unbalanced he will get. And in this kind of cases, I don't have a set response like 1, 2, 3, 4. No, this is just, it's like guerrilla warfare. It's a very loose thing. Okay, so whenever you throw a punch, you do this. And if you throw another punch, I'll throw another one. And I'll wait until I see the opportunity. Like there's one particular punch that I caught, this way he hit a bit more, his arm back, that's when I'm going to hit him. If I don't see that, I don't hit him. So there's no set motion. It's not a 1, 2, 3. It's just a simple response. And in these cases, if you throw a hook instead of that, it will a hook instead of it will outdo this from Tai Chi that we will talk about in the Tai Chi video. And like I said, right, if he's swinging really hard, I'll just take his balance off there and then follow up with a punch there. Or like, if he throws a hook and then throws another one, then it'll be there and I'll punch him there. So again, this might start to sound like this is a set menu or like a math formula. Okay, which is another example I like to use, that fighting is not math. You don't have a set formula you have to solve. It's more variance involved. But no, I'm not actually teaching you a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just a simple response. At least I use where if it's a straight punch, I'll do this. If it's a hook, I'll do that. And upon doing that, if he attacks more, I'll carry on. If he has a break, I'll hit him back in the head. Things like that. So there's no set pattern. I don't teach you a set technique. Okay? A set technique only works when I'm initiating. It doesn't work when I'm being passive or defensive. Okay? And that is how it is. And of course, my personal goal at the moment is to be able to use the Tombei approach in combat, which is still hard because I actually need to spar against my own master. And I don't see him that much. I only see him once a year. And this year I had some family issues. I haven't even managed to go back to China. So that part of my training is a bit delayed. But my goal is that in the near future I'll be able to, to apply the Tombei approach in combat. Now, I've been spending the past 3 years training the basics, opening the shoulders, learning the right thinking force, applying the power correct, doing the movement correct, but I haven't gone to the combat side. So although I can tell you how some of the basic approaches to combat Tombei had, I can't really show you. I can't really tell you this is how I use it in combat, because I haven't actually using it. Most of the fights I've done before, I've been using each as a Tai Chi principles to run. So again, this isn't to teach you how to self-defense, to tell you how I actually beat a lot of the people. And as you can see, if you have the right power, I really don't have to care what he does. I mean, of course, I need to respond to see if it's a straight punch, or if it's a hook, if it's that hook or that hook. You have to respond. But I'm not too hung up on, like what I'm going to do against this punch. Do I have the perfect technique right? No. I trust in my power, or in my structure, or in my, the force I generate. I trust that if he throws a punch, I'm gonna cause displacement, and if he's the tenser he is, the more the displacement you have on the head, right? I mean, he's used to not punching tense, so I'm confident in that. I'm confident that if my arm touches his arm is gonna fly, right? I mean, this is the basic one, but even if I were to do like the circular hand, if I see his arm and my arm touches his arm is gonna fly. So my confidence is in that. And when that happens, I'm gonna hit him really, really hard. If that doesn't happen, I'll wait for the next opportunity. But every time he touches my arm, he's gonna feel less comfortable than me. Right? Same with structure. When I touch him, and I feel resistance, I know it's game over for him. Okay? Whether I'm doing 旋法, or whether I'm just doing forward and back, or whatever it is. So in fighting, my confidence in the fact that I have superior structure and I have this force that can manifest at any given time and any given angle. Whether I'm doing this, or whether I'm doing that, or whether he's still doing a straight punch. I'm just this isn't how to defend against straight punch, a million ways against straight punch. No, this is just show the power. Or if my arm comes this way, no matter where my arm comes up, it will always be uncomfortable for him. And that is the important thing in any internal martial art in terms of fighting. Is that quality of motion and the weight, the heaviness, and the overpowering structure that makes it harder for other guy to do anything. That's what you bank on in self-defense. Not 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that will never work. All right. So, anything you want to add?
So I'm just thinking about this.
Sure.
It's a lot of it is actually about look, I mean, it's actually quite a funny thing. I used to think that a lot of it is about reaction time, or muscle memory, and etc. It does come into play, but not as much as you viewers think it would be. I mean, sure, you need to be able to react to whatever the guys throw onto you if you want to fight reactively. But there's basically a method to madness, to be honest. It's not like when you purely rely on memory and muscle memory, you will win. If you rely too much on 1, 2, 3, right? Those are memory and muscle memory. If you rely on too much 1, 2, 3, you become very predictable. First of all, second of all, whatever you're doing, it's not going to be able to handle all the situation. So my advice is, or the way that I see it is, yes, you do need reaction. Yes, you do need some sort of basic building blocks to use, but don't get too hung up on a long chain of combo or etc. They are building blocks whereby you slap the hand out of the way or use your internal power. They are building blocks, but they're not 1, 2, 3. They're just 1, 1, 1, 1 or 2, 2, 2, 2 or 3, 3, 3, 3. And basically be flexible. My advice is, or the way that I see it is, you need to be prepared for anything. Just like what Chris says, the guy might not just throw 2 straight punches and a kick. He might decide to choose 2 punches and start tackling. And things like that, right? You have to be able to cater for it. One way of doing cater or one way of skipping the surprises, or you don't want any nasty surprise in the fight. One way of handling it is you initiate it, whereby you attack first. That is the safest way. So forget about defense, right? The best defense is actually a good offense.
That's cliche.
I'm trying to get some comedy in, man. Yeah. But anyway, so at the first level, or one of the way to eliminate any nasty surprise is you punch first. But obviously, from my understanding, the higher level of fighting is, like Chris says, that you actually once you start throwing punches, or once you go onto your offensive, you're actually opening up yourself for manipulation. You're exposing yourself as well. Funny enough. So then again, the best defense is actually not so much an offense when you get to a second level. or when you think about it that way. Because when you're attacking, you're actually open to all sorts of funny business. Like when I try to punch Chris, he actually used his weight or his power to manipulate my body into where he wants it. So keep that in mind. That when you're attacking, there's always surprises. So don't think that there's no surprises. There's always surprises. Even though if you learn a 1-2-3 combo, or if you learn the building blocks, there will always be nasty surprise. So do you try to go on the offensive first if the situation demand, or if you're in a clinch? But keep in mind that it can go south.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to beat the hobo trying to mug you on the street, then 1, 2, 3, 4 will work, right? Punch, low kick, drop. It works. If it doesn't work, if an elbow and the knee or whatever, that definitely could work, right? If you're not trying to fight some high-level martial masters, you don't have to worry about that.
Well, you get like Mike Tyson that bites people's ears.
that's
you need to watch out. Like a hobo, right? He will literally bite you. So don't think that he won't.
Yeah, hence, right? Another point that I might add is, in self-defense on the street, try not to get entangled. Try not to grab onto one another, right? I mean, that happens a lot in matches because people want to preserve their energy, right? When they're tired, they hold on because they can take a breather. But in a real life situation, you don't want to do that because if you grab onto somebody, he might like whip out a knife and stab you. You can't see it because you're like here, okay? But if I'm standing here, if you want to pull a knife or something, I can at least see it and be warned. Doesn't mean you can win against a knife, but at least you have a better chance of running or getting away or controlling that knife hand. But if you are here, you are sitting down completely. You don't even see it before you get stabbed, like 5 times. So in a self-defense situation, don't get entangled. At least try not to win by strike. Okay, whether it's boxing, Muay Thai, or Chinese martial art, it doesn't matter. Just strike. Okay, don't grab him unless you don't have a choice, or it's like you made a mistake and he grabbed you. Afterwards, but you need to know how to win out of a grab. But first and foremost, to knock him out. If you hit the face, that's always the best place to hit. Of course, if you're doing internal martial art, you can emphasize solar plexus and these areas because the face is slightly harder to hit when people see it coming, they're expecting it to come. So either way, punch hard, and most importantly, train fighting by fighting. Okay, at least do sparring, and with people who know how to spar. Okay, don't do sparring with people who don't spar. Like people, like don't do that. Right? Go to a proper school and train with people who know how to fight. I always tell all my students that want to do self-defense. To do self-defense, you fight against me. If one day I feel like I'm kind of struggling a bit to hit you, then you have a better chance on the street. It's simple as that. Train with better fighters will always make you life a lot easier when you face a lesser fighter, so to speak. I mean, at this level, I'm not particularly good. I mean, there's a lot of, I can't beat professional fighters, and my master's a lot better than me. But when I walk on the street and I see someone trying to hurt me or try to fight with me, I don't even care because it's so easy. All right? I'm not even concerned because it's so much easier to beat someone who's untrained. So self-defense is not that hard, but you have to train correctly. If you train incorrectly, it will be very hard and nearly impossible to achieve. Alright, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's a bit long, and sorry for the clickbait title, but I believe the message is so important for all of you to receive. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comment below. For my video to be helpful, then please support me on Patreon. And thanks again for watching TriEssence Martial Art channel, and I'll see you next time.